Everyone, Zahar, surprised to see the notification. Yeah, hey, let me just double check that we are online. And I should be going live any second. And let me see. I've connected. Okay, yes, we are live. Welcome. Good to see you, Zahar. And thanks for being here. This is going to be very brief. I want to introduce these slides. I want to introduce this presentation. This is not a full presentation. This is simply a preview of what I will be discussing next. Now, I will be online on Thaddeus' channel with Thunderous to discuss the previous slides at a much slower pace. We'll take more time to go through the various issues. Obviously, I'm updating as I go, as I do more research, as I'm learning more. And over the next few months, we're going to be going through the absolutely insane Emmanuel, hey, man, welcome. Thank you for being here. You and I need to get together. We should talk sometime, so please, if you can schedule some time, let's chat via Facebook. And yeah, we spoke some time ago about maybe doing a talk together. Just, it'll be nice to just shoot the breeze one time at least and get perspectives. But yeah, I'm going to talk about You Never Return as a Horse. Welcome. Yeah, so Lloyd, Thaddeus, and Thunderous here. So we'll be doing the same slides I did previously on my channel. I'll be going through them at less of a pace. Everyone says that it's too much of a data dump. And yeah, I've spent months, if not the last couple of years, researching this. It's taken a lot of time. I've told you guys I've been working on a lot of things in the background, and I am. But it takes a great deal of time to do this research. So let me introduce you to what is coming next so that you understand what's coming up. And these slides are changing as I'm going, but these are generally, I think, more or less complete. So, scientific Christianity. Understand that socialism is effectively scientific Christianity. Secular humanism is an outgrowth, is part and parcel of socialism, as is atheism. Atheism is integral. It is compulsory within socialism and scientific humanism. Do understand socialism is a religion. Scientific atheism is a religion. And of course, the term scientific atheism is a communist term. It's been used by Marx and Lenin, for example. So we're going to be speaking briefly about secular hubris, atheist fanatics, and a history of failed ideas. So let me continue. And indeed, it is a belief system. Yes, Emmanuel, it is most certainly a belief system. Now, what is this communism? Communism, I know we all seem to think it's like socialism. Communism is very simply the end state of socialism. So socialism is the vehicle to get you to the communist state, the state withers away, the condition where the state withers away. Effectively, the Garden of Eden. It's the equivalent. And Miss Aladdin, welcome. And I'd like to look to become a Christian. How do I begin? That's one choice. Emmanuel is probably someone you can speak with. He's an ex-Muslim too, if I recall. Emmanuel, if you can speak to Miss Aladdin, that would be nice. Miss Aladdin, I do hope you are sincere and that we have Muslims that come on and pretend, let's say. So sometimes there are these issues, and it's not to disparage you or take your words as insincere, but there have been many cases like that. So, but yeah, I believe you will be making the right choice. It's just, Islam is a broken system, and I've covered Islamic law extensively on my channel. Now, communism, we think of some sort of universal discussion about, equality. No. Communism is derived from Roman Catholicism. It was Marx's attempt, and socialism and secular humanism are all attempts to take Roman Catholicism and convert it into a religion without divinity, religion without Jesus, without God. So hence, it is from Latin communis, universal. So it's their attempt to create a counterfeit Christianity, a counterfeit church. Let's have a look at Lenin. This is from Lenin's book, Religion, in 1905, and let's see if we can find parallels between what modern atheists are saying today in 2022 and what Lenin was saying back then. Atheism is a natural and inseparable part of Marxism, of the theory and practice of scientific socialism. Of course, that's on page 5, and of course that is also part and parcel of it's scientific atheism. Okay, understand, he practiced scientific atheism. Deduza, welcome. Yeah, this was just a sudden off-the-cuff thing. I just thought, hey, let me do this before I finish off the night, I just wanted to show people. So atheism is an integral part of Marxism. Consequently, the Marxist Party must carry on propaganda in favor of atheism. Thunderous, welcome. Hey, I was just telling you. Wow, nice to see everyone here. I was just telling everyone that we will be doing shows, us with you, me, and Thaddeus, to discuss the previous slides, and we will be going at them at a slower pace, so that everyone can get more out of the conversation. So, let's see. So, atheism is an integral part of Marxism. The Marxist Party must carry on propaganda in favor of atheism, right? Let's have a look. Religion is opium for the people. Now, this is in the book Religion. There's numerous pages for this. I will link this eventually in the description. But understand, when he says opium, what he means is it is a drug that prevents people. Religion is the drug that prevents people from seeing their greatness, technically their godhood. So religion is the drug that keeps you asleep. But when you abandon religion, you suddenly are woke. Do you understand? You wake up. The religion is the opium that keeps you asleep, makes you unconscious. Once you leave religion, you go woke. Yeah, it's going to be... Thunderous, you always bring the thunder, man. People love your conversations. Now, our program necessarily includes the propaganda of atheism. So Lenin and Marx, well, Lenin in this case specifically, is telling us that atheism is propaganda. Atheism spreads propaganda, just like Islam has dawah, which is correctly defined as propaganda. The philosophical basis for Marxism is absolutely atheistic and positively hostile to religion. Right? Miss Aladdin, I'm absolutely sincere. My ancestors were Coptic Christians, but were forced to become Muslim a few generations ago. That is tragic. I'm glad. Yeah, look, Emmanuel Shahid is someone you can speak to. I can certainly put you in touch with Adam Seeker through his Discord. Join Adam Seeker's Discord. That's another person I can speak to him about you. Yeah, or Thunderous. You know what? There's Thunderous. Sorry, not Thunderous. I meant to say Thaddeus. Reasoned Answers. If you want, please contact Reasoned Answers. Go to his channel, Reasoned Answers, and send him an email, and he would be glad to help you. We would be very happy to try and assist you there. This is not something that I am greatly familiar with. I'm not an evangelist. I do polemics. I used to prevent crazy jihadis from blowing people up. So I'm not really the guy for this kind of thing, but certainly I'll be happy to put you in touch with Thaddeus, Reasoned Answers. He'd be glad to help, and I know Emmanuel is a really good guy to speak to. So yeah, the philosophical basis for Marxism is absolutely atheistic and positively hostile to all religion. Now, I'm going to go to this book that I just mentioned. This is Lenin's Religion. So let's have a look at this. Atheism is a natural and inseparable part of Marxism, of scientific socialism. Right, so it's scientific. So Lenin, the murderer, he adopted scientific everything. Right, the criticism of religion, according to Marx, and yeah, as Lenin repeats, is the beginning of all criticism. So the foundation of all criticism, critical race theory. Well, it started with critical religious theory. So first they criticized religion, and now they're criticizing race. Hey, Matenga. So the atheistic character of their mature philosophy seemed to require little emphasis and was taken for granted. Now, understand, this analysis was accomplished with such completeness. In other words, they criticized religion to death, according to them. They criticized religion out of existence. They criticized it to the state of non-existence, of irrelevance. And this analysis was accomplished with such completeness that later the atheistic character of their mature philosophy seemed to require little emphasis and was taken for granted. The same is true of many Marxists, not least of Lenin. And notice that they say here, it is not an accident that the works of our great masters, Marx, Engels, and Lenin, contain no complete and systematic statement of their atheism. It is not usual to talk of obvious facts. So in other words, they did not provide, the masters of atheism, the great masters of atheism, did not provide a basis for their beliefs because one does not talk of obvious facts, which would tell me this is the basis for these crazy atheists not having a basis for their beliefs, a foundation, because they did not get one from the Marxist and Leninist genocidal maniacs, atheist genocidal maniacs they inherited their beliefs from. Notice they speak of the Social Democrats of Germany and the demand for the separation of the church from the state. So they're demanding separation of church and state. So that idea, now, it does not originate here necessarily. We can go back into the American history. after the American Revolution and the early presidents of the US and so on. We can discuss that in depth and detail. You'd be amazed at what's going on there. But yeah, separation of church and state, they demand it. Notice, from the writings of Lenin, the following 4 principles stand out as the most important. Atheism is an integral part of Marxism. So they must carry on propaganda in favor of atheism. Who's carrying on propaganda in favor of atheism? Well, the atheists. Are they doing the job of the Marxists? As I have claimed, they are the useful idiots of communism. And yes, they are the useful idiots of communism, according to the communists. The church and the school must be made. So a complete separation of church and state and church and school. We're going to have a look at that on Richard Dawkins. The winning over of the proletariat is accomplished through propaganda in favor of atheism that must grow. And the emancipation of the toiling masses from religion is accomplished through the propaganda for atheism. Propaganda for atheism. Right? And then they speak again of complete separation of church and state is what the socialist proletariat demands of the modern state and the modern church. Right, wonder why they want to do that. Divide and conquer, divide and rule. Then you must stand for the complete separation of church and state and church and school, for religion to be declared holy and absolutely a private affair. Oh, so, however, their religion, they want to make state endorsed, state mandated. Let me continue here. The political line of Marxism is inseparably bound up with its philosophical principles. So understand, its major philosophical principle is that it is atheist and it is political. Now, understand, atheism is a political religion. Now, there's an idiot called the truth seeker or something like that. Truth defender, sorry. If you're listening to this, you're an idiot. Now, I have stated very bluntly, Islam is a deen. It is a political religion. Now, yes, when I say religion, we all just call it religion. That's simply a label. It is a political system, and I've said this bluntly many times, political system like Marxism, like communism, like Nazism, like fascism. It is a political system. It simply calls itself religion. It is a counterfeit religion. It is a fake religion. It's not a real religion. It's a label, a convenience to use the term, but it's a political system. Okay, now let me go back to my slides here for a moment. Oops. I need to look up. Okay, so we've seen atheism. So let me go back to the PDF. Yeah, I'm just doing a run through of these things because I'm still getting familiar with all this material. Right, I'm just going to go back to the top. So understand, atheism is entirely political. Right, atheism is an entirely political system. And so it's integral to Marxism and it is propaganda. Propaganda. Now you will notice as we go through this that the atheists of today are saying exactly the same things as the Nazis did, as Hitler did, quite literally. No, Hitler was not an atheist, as far as I can tell. They're saying exactly the same things as Lenin. They're saying exactly the same things as Stalin, as Marx. So if you are saying exactly the same things as some of the worst genocidal maniacs in history, then whose side are you on? Let's continue. I need to get a bit more organized. Let's continue. So let's have a look here. Now, the American Humanist Association. So one of the most important tasks of the Cultural Revolution is the task of systematically combating religion. The proletarian government must prevent all church interference in state-organized educational affairs and ruthlessly suppress the counter-revolutionary activity of the ecclesiastical organizations. Does the American Humanist Association, does the UCLA, the American Civil Liberties Union, do they sue for people praying in the cafeteria? People praying before a football match? Yes, they do. They are following Lenin's commands to a T. He's like the Muhammad of communism, right? Think of this. This is like the Muhammad of communism. And like good Abduls, they're doing exactly what he says. And they claim they're not political and they're not a religion, but they're doing exactly this. And they're not communists, but yeah. Notice the proletarian state, while granting liberty of worship and abolishing the privileged position of the formerly dominant religion. Now look, he said this, but he ruthlessly, don't forget, under Stalin, the Soviet Union murdered about 20 million Christians. Okay? They destroyed church after church, probably hundreds, if not thousands of churches. They killed thousands of priests. So they had religious freedom. Yeah, sure. They were a perfect state. They only murdered 60 plus million of their own people. But they carry on anti-religious propaganda with all the means at its command and reconstructs the whole of its educational work on the basis of scientific materialism. Of course, if you put the word scientific, that makes it okay. That's why you have the science of Hadith, right? And we know Hadith is a joke. Let's look at how the words of Richard Dawkins match up with this. Richard Dawkins launches into a full-on appeal for atheists to make public their beliefs and to aggressively fight the incursion of religion into politics and education. Oh my. We must ruthlessly suppress the counter-revolutionary activity of the ecclesiastical organization. We must prevent all church interference in state-organized educational activity. Oh my God. Richard Dawkins, is he a Marxist? Is he a Leninist? Is he a secret Marxist-Leninist? Because if not, he's doing exactly what Lenin wanted, exactly what Stalin and Marx wanted. So yes, he is a useful idiot for communism. Now, others have wondered whether his strident approach could do more harm than good. Well, we know that they ended up murdering tens of millions of people. Right, let's have a look. Dawkins says in his TED Talk, there's no room for a God in the world as he sees it, and he believes atheists should be forceful in opposing religion. Well, thanks, Lenin. So maybe his name is Lenin Dawkins, or Richard Lenin Dawkins, or Richard Lenin. You tell me. Let's have a look at the great masters of atheism. The claim that atheism is the default position of atheists is a Leninist Marxist position. By the way, we have Lenin here, Lenin, older Lenin, a younger Lenin, and of course this is Engels down here. The criticism of religion is the beginning of all criticism, right? And as they say here, the atheistic character of the mature philosophy is taken for granted. So yes, it's taken for granted, right? We don't talk of obvious facts. So this has been proven. Notice they did not provide a basis for their proof. They simply just criticized it, but fine. Oh, by the way, so we don't need to explain ourselves. We are gods. Just believe, bigot. And that's from the foreword to Lenin's book, Religion. Now, as we know, the whole political vision of the left, including socialism, has failed, but this has only led leftist intellectuals to evade and denigrate empirical evidence. So this reminds one of a story called The Bed of Procrustes. It's an old Greek story, very, very old. Procrustes made a perfect bed, and he would invite people to lie on it. The problem is that some people were too short, and some people were too tall, and he had to stretch them and deform them to make them fit his bed. Or if they were too tall, their feet had to be cut off, or their legs had to be cut off to make them fit the bed, because you see, the bed was perfect, but the people were not. Right? Now, this guy again, whatever you do, crush the loathsome thing and love those who love you. Now, of course, that is the Islamic position. The Islamic Allah only loves those who love him first. But Jesus said, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. Now, of course, he was very famous for this little French phrase here. And let's have a look. This was an expression of his love of men, of liberty, of enlightenment, and of progress. Okay, that's fine, right? Now, let's have a look. He says now, of course, now he's supposed to be a deist, according to some sources. But he did say if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. So the question is, what kind of God did these atheist socialists invent? Well, then again, he contradicts himself here. There is no God, right? There is no God. Well, so he realizes that this is something that actually creates order within society. But now, what you may not realize is, this guy was, I need to update these slides, but he was he was banging his niece. Let's put it that way. So he was having an incestuous relationship with a family member. So maybe one can figure out why he didn't want the moral restraints of Christianity and the church upon him, because he was keeping it in the family, shall we say. So now, yeah, I'll just continue through this. Now let's have a look. We've already mentioned this before, but Yuval points out there's nothing scientifically special about any individual sapiens, although we all like to think that individual humans are important. That sense of dignity comes from Christianity, but he's saying, well, you're only worth a few cents worth of chemicals, you're worthless, and human rights are not real. Don't tell anyone. So understand this is a leftover from the Christian concept of souls. Right, now, of course, for those of you who know, I'm going over some of this again. Hello, Andrew Martin. Of course, this is Marx with his very... words I would destroy forever. I forfeited my soul. My soul is chosen for hell. With Satan I've struck my deal. I play the death march, fast and free. Right? And his message leaps to the brain from hell's black mists. So that is... so that's good old Karl Marx doing his deal with Satan. Now, let me skip over some of this. I want to go simply... Marx and the Übermensch. Now, he says here that man made religion. In other words, man created religion, and therefore man must be the one to create religion, right? Now, Marx sought a Superman in the fantastic reality of heaven, but found no more than a reflection of himself. So this is simply hubris. This is simply narcissism. And the abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is required for their real happiness, because Marx was going to lead people to happiness. He led men to slaughter, right? Now, this is a guy called John Rendell that comes on my channel and tells me, I am my own God. We are here to unlearn the teaching of the church, state, and our educational system. So he's following in the footsteps of Lenin. We are here to drink beer and we're here to kill war. That's great. I am my own God, because if there is no God, you are your own God, right? So Stalin thought the same, exactly. So unfortunately, these people are all in good company. As I was saying, these are the useful idiots of communism. They've absorbed the thinking of the worst tyrants of the last 250 years, the most genocidally dangerous, most lethal, evil men of the last 250 years, and they were all atheists and socialists. Now, I'll skip over this guy. Of course, as you know, give a little thought to the Confession of Faith. We would do best to abandon the catechetical form and call the thing the Communist Manifesto, because catechism is religious instruction, right? So Marx's socialism is a religion. And thanks for those notes, Andrew Martin, right? I'm curious as to why atheists would even mention Satan if they do not believe in God, anything of that sort of external height. That's a very good question. If we go here, let me go have a look here. Why would they mention Satan? So actually, let me go to... for instance, if we look here, Saul Alinsky describes the modus operandi, right? So Gramsci, okay, let's actually just go back to Gramsci. Why not? Let's just go back to Gramsci here. Gramsci he was Italian. He is the architect of cultural Marxism. Honeybee, welcome. Right? Socialism is the religion that must overwhelm Christianity. Socialism will triumph by first capturing the culture via infiltration of schools, universities, churches, and the media, and then transforming the consciousness of society. This is indoctrination into this materialist worldview. Now, he is foundational to intersectionality and cultural Marxism, which dismantles existing culture, right, by challenging the legitimacy of existing institutions like family, religion, and political power. So, fine. Now, notice Saul Alinsky describes the modus operandi in Rules for Radicals. That's his book on how to do this social. Remember, Obama was a community organizer. So was Saul Alinsky a community organizer. Obama was just doing community organizer. Remember, Obama said he was going to transform America? That's exactly what he was doing. Notice that his book, The Rules for Radicals, I don't have it here yet. I need to update these slides, but he makes a specific mention of Satan. So basically, in Rules for Radicals, he specifically mentions and he acknowledges that this book is inspired by Satan. Satan being the very first radical who rebelled against God. So they are all rebelling against God, and he established his own kingdom. So Satan was the first radical that rebelled against God and established his own kingdom. So he basically acknowledges this book. Now, people call it dedication, and yes, it does read like a dedication. It does read like a dedication. So yeah, but he has a personal acknowledgement to Satan. He personally acknowledges Satan. Hey, I won't be much longer. Nicholas, welcome, very welcome. I won't be much longer. Now let's have a look at the origin of the socialist religion. Socialism is a term coined in the 1820s by this crazy man, Henry de Saint-Simon. Okay, Henry Saint-Simon. And he created it as Christian socialism. So in other words, scientific Christianity. So remember, he wanted the scientific organization of industry and society. But of course, he needed a basis on which to build this. He needed some sort of moral system, something to provide cultural cohesion, social cohesion. And of course, the church was providing that, religion was providing that. So they needed to just take that, strip out anything with the divine, and then they made up their own little religion, right? A non-religion religion. So I'm actually thinking of, as you guys know, I happen to have a series on Islam called monotheism, right? Because it's pagan. Basically, it's pagan Gnosticism. So it's pseudo-biblical precepts on top of a pagan base. Right, so that's monotheism, because it's moon worship, it's Babylonian moon worship. I was thinking of calling this series nonotheism instead of monotheism, nonotheism, because it's, because they supposedly are not theistic, but they are 100% theistic, right? They believe in themselves, and that's all. They just replace God with themselves. They've made man in the image of man. Now notice he wanted to abolish private property, and he influenced Auguste Comte, who created sociology. Auguste Comte also created the word altruism. Now, the theory of the communists may be summed up in a single sentence: abolition of private property. Oh, that's Marx. So this guy wanted to abolish private property. So Marx was influenced by this guy. A lot of people were influenced by this guy. Okay? Now, technocracy is a scientific dictatorship, and he wanted that scientists take the place of priests in the social order. Ask Sam Harris about that, or Sham Harris. WEF, exactly, Andrew. That is 100% correct. Now, I'm going to skip forward a bit. So he was deficient in clarity and coherence in his thinking, but his influence on modern thought in social sciences is undeniable. He wanted businessmen and other industrial leaders to control society. That's the WEF. That's Klaus Schwab right there. The spiritual direction of society would be in the hands of scientists and engineers who would take the place occupied by the church. Nonius Rakaridis, welcome. Really have learned a lot from the monotheism series. Thank you. Okay, now notice he said that an industrialized state would be directed by modern science, one in which society would be organized for productive labor. Now, hey, Marx and Lenin were all very, very interested in productive labor. What's called the Gulag system. Right? So understand, this guy inspired all of these crazy people. And he was a sham atheist as well. Now, hang on, let's have a look here. So notice his religion in his book, The New Christianity, because he called it the new socialism is the new Christianity. It takes the form of religion, concerned with the plight of the poor, right? And of course, the inheritance rights to be abolished. He wanted inheritance rights to be abolished. Now, this is a Marxist idea. Marx, in his manifesto, wants inheritance rights to be abolished. Why? Because that money must go to the state. Okay? The capital could leave the hands of self-seeking capitalists and be placed at society's disposal. Well, just like socialists are like, why don't you donate that money instead of buying that Mercedes? You know, exactly. It's exactly the same idea and thinking. I'm going to skip over these guys. I want to get to Auguste Comte. I'll end up with this guy. So he's a French philosopher and founder of Sociology and Positivism, which is a political philosophy, right? And he gave the science of sociology its name. Now, sociology is a Trojan horse. It's actually how they implement this. It's a science. Well, we'll get to that. So positivism is about the data of experience, and it excludes any sort of metaphysical speculations. He described it as a religion of humanity. So his philosophy was a religion of humanity, right? And it's eventually merged in the 20th century into analytic philosophy. Now, he argued that in the name of science, the theological and metaphysical stages of human development were a result of primitive superstition and ignorance. Don't atheists today say that, well, that's superstition and ignorance? Yes, they frickin' do. Right? This is who they... And the positive stage in which factual knowledge is gathered and interpreted scientifically. Now, this is not the only kind of knowledge. There's more than one kind of knowledge, right? Would show what men are and how they should live. So science will tell you how you need to live. And the science of sociology was born and was destined to rival ethics and theology. I just noticed that it doesn't show up fully. Okay, let me have a look at this slide. Just notice now I need to... let's first find this. Oh, what do I need to adjust my... great. No, I don't have it. So, yeah. I cannot edit this right now. So anyway, that's... yeah, it went off the page, so I'll have to fix that. But the science of sociology was born, and it would rival ethics and theology in regulating society, basically. All right? So actually, let me see what it says here. Let me go back there. See if I can fix this. Oh. It would rival ethics and theology in their efforts to relate men to reality. So this would describe reality. Yeah, work in progress. Yeah, I'm still working on this, guys. So, yeah. Now, this is a religious philosophy. The basic affirmations of positivism are that blah, blah. I'm going to skip all this for now. Now, it's worldly, secular, and anti-theological. It's anti-Christian. Okay, let's be specific. It's anti-Christian, right? And... he also wanted this is the utilitarian philosophy, but this is also adopted by Marx, and it's the worst genocides in history were also based around this. The greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, right? And Comte was the founder of religion. The object of worship was not the deity of the monotheistic faiths, but humanity, again, which is effectively Satanism, right? Worship of the self. Let's have a look at his secular religion. So, now, his adherents have built chapels of humanity in France and Brazil. Worship of the man, exactly, Andrew. In the US and Europe, his ideas contributed to the emergence of ethical societies and ethical churches. Fantastic. Which led to the development of ethical culture. Now, ethical culture is recognized. Don't forget, atheism is a religion. The United States Supreme Court recognizes atheism as a religion. They argued, the American Humanist Association argued for the rights of atheism and secular humanism as religions. They are legally recognized as religions. They wanted freedom of speech and to be protected under the Establishment Clause of the U.S. Constitution. So they argued to be a religion. Of course, they claim to be not a religion. The problem is, which is kind of insane, the problem is, now I'm busy working on I've got a bunch of different stuff on the go, but there are severe legal ramifications of the secular religion, because if they're a religion, then they cannot force their will, but yet they are. They are forcing this as a mandate. So they are violating the law. But that's a discussion for another time. But understand, so he led to the development of ethical culture, congregational humanist, and secular humanist organizations. So understand, the atheists argued for their views to be viewed as a religion. They are legally a religion, right? I know they said they're not a religion. They are a religion. They are legally a religion. Comte developed the religion of humanity to fulfill the cohesive function once held by traditional worship. So understand, they all realized, from Voltaire and all of these guys, from the French Revolution onwards, they all realized we need to keep some semblance of religion because it provides a social cohesive force, and yet they wanted to strip out any of the divine and then use it as a form of indoctrination, right? So his religion was a complete system of belief and ritual with liturgy and sacraments, priesthood, and a pontiff. Okay, sounds like they just ripped off the church, right? It was organized around the public veneration of humanity, referred to as the Nouveau Grand Être, the new supreme great being. Good grief. Who was that new supreme great being? People. Right? You are the supreme great being. This was later supplemented in a positivist trinity by the grand fetish, the earth, and the grand milieu, cosmic space. The earth, the Gaia movement. Yeah, ask yourself where that came from. So there was also the atheism movement about a decade ago to make atheism into a new religion. Well, it is legally a religion, Andrew, but thank you for that. I need to... Yeah, so yes, but he is atheistic. This religion is atheistic. It's anti-theological, right? In fact, they are theophobic, right? These people. So in the good old USA, attorneys have ethical standards they're held to, not moral. Yes, and if they are secular humanist ethics, then, well, they violate Christian ethics, right? Standard Western ethics. Now, he coined the term altruism, which is generosity and selfless dedication to others. Of course, we're doing this for the good of the people. And as we all know, that the justification that you're doing it for the good of all people has been the standard excuse of tyrants through history. Now, he felt that this religion would bring order to society. He thought that after the French Revolution, society needed a restoration of order, and his religion of scientific humanism was just the thing. Let's continue. It would bring progress. You see, the consequence of industrial and technical breakthroughs for human societies would be progress. Yes, Andrew Martin, when you do it for the good of the people, it always ends in tyranny. And in the Catechism of Positivity, notice, catechism is a religious word. It's a Catholic word, right? He defined his Church of Humanity's 7 sacraments. I'm not going to go into the 7 sacraments. Now, the religion of humanity was described by Thomas Huxley as Catholicism minus Christianity. And this is pretty much socialism, it is Marxism, it is blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of them. Mashurus, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, yeah, in addition to a holy trinity of humanity, the earth, and destiny, it had a priesthood. And according to the one historian I was reading, it was even more influential in Victorian England than the theories of Charles Darwin or Karl Marx. Oh, we need to talk about Charles Darwin, his impact on the Germans even prior to the rise of Hitler. We're talking the 19th century, and how Charles Darwin created the slaughter that was World War II. Charles Darwin is directly, specifically responsible for inspiring the Nazis, their ideology, and massive genocides. Okay, this is going to be something as well. I've got so much to convert into slides and provide, but you would be shocked. Atheism has blood in its hands. Darwinism has blood in its hands. You have no idea the vast amount of slaughter. Seriously, I know I make a lot of fat claims. I say a lot of things, and man, I will back up every word I say. But Charles Darwin he's as bad as Lenin or Mao. So he wanted a secular Roman Catholic Church for a better future. Now, he used the notion of a hypothetical framework for social organization that would imitate the hierarchy and discipline found in the Roman Catholic Church. Now, notice his whole guide for how to create society, right? For social planning, for a better future, is called sociology. Now, where are the most radicals found in the universities? Well, in the social sciences, in the social sciences department, in the sociology department. This is how he made this radical socialism, this revolutionary atheism. Atheism is a revolutionary ideology. Don't forget, jihad is, and I've finally figured it out, jihad is revolutionary Islam, right? You get the Long March Muslims and you get the revolutionary Muslims. Just like you have the Marxists, the revolutionary Marxists and the Long March. The, you know, like the, what was it? The Frankfurt School, the Long March Marxists. And that's exactly what it is. So yeah, so according to history, according to reports about him, he was an ungrateful, self-centered and egocentric personality. So obviously worshipping himself. He compensated for this by his zeal for the welfare of humanity, for the good of humanity, and he wanted to improve society according to his model and ideal. Oh, notice this, ethical culture. This was an offshoot of his ideas. He wanted to create ethical culture as a new religion, and the US Supreme Court in their rulings and the follow-on court rulings also recognized ethical culture as a religion. These are religions, okay? They would strip away the unscientific dogmas of traditional religions. While Christianity doesn't claim to be scientific. It never has claimed to be science. It has never claimed to be scientific, right? And while retaining and elevating the ethical message at the heart of all religions, well, Islam doesn't have an ethical message. Islam is murder, right? It's cancer. So not all religions have the same messages. They don't have the same ideas, the same morals. Now notice, this was the symbol of his ethical culture. These guys are still around today. And notice this is your hippie movement symbol. Look at the similarity. Just minus the crossbar here. Just minus the crossbar, that's all. Now he believed that there were vital aspects of religion that should not be allowed to fall by the wayside because they provide vital functions in encouraging good works and social cohesion. So all of these people, all of these crazy genocidal maniacs realized religion was important. Therefore, they had to retain it, but manipulate it, alter it to their purpose. So, yeah, that's all they've done. They've just taken the template and they've corrupted it and they've caused nothing but genocides. Atheists are guilty of this. Atheism has blood in its hands, rivers of blood. Remember, atheists have killed more people in the 20th century, far more people, multiple times more, than have died due to supposed religious conflicts in the last 2,000 years. Yeah, I mean, I've been showing the numbers. I've been showing various numbers from really detailed research. And the atheists that have come onto my channel recently to discuss refuse to engage with the facts, refuse to engage and provide me with factual details, right? They say, no, you're wrong. Okay, about what? Everything. Can you be specific? No, you're wrong about everything. That's not an answer, but fine. I provided one guy told me I provided no history. I provided no historical information. I provided nothing from history. I'm like, this is all historical. I've got dates, times, places, and people. So yeah, guys, now the welfare of the people in particular has always been the alibi of tyrants, from Albert Camus. This is not to say I'm endorsing the guy's philosophy, because to be honest, I haven't looked at it one bit. I just took the quote. For all I know, the guy's a crazy maniac himself. So yeah. Does it come from Vitruvian Man? Yeah, that's a good question, Andrew. This upper diagram. This is this guy, this ethical culture freak. This was his logo, and it's still the same logo, still around today. It looks very sort of cave drawing, kind of thing, but I would guess it is inspired by the Vitruvian Man. It did look like that to me as well. I had that view. So actually, let's look up the Vitruvian Man. For those who don't know what it is, because that struck me as well as Vitruvian Man. That's exactly what I thought when I saw it. But so this is the Vitruvian Man. Give me a sec. Yeah, so that's the Vitruvian Man image. That's Leonardo da Vinci. So yeah, I would assume there's some kind of link there. I just haven't gone into depth. I just wanted to mention that these ideas have spread, and the hippies are basically the same socialist freaks as well. Yeah. So guys, I'll end here. I just wanted to do a quick overview just to show you what's coming, what's new. Obviously, there's overlap with the previous work. I still am working on these slides. Yeah, I need to talk about Darwin and his direct influence on World War I and World War II. On late 19th century, the precursors to the Nazis. For instance, if you look at the fathers of Goebbels, the fathers of all of these crazy Nazis, they were influenced by Darwin extensively. So, man is the measure of all things. Oh my good grief. Andrew, you're a genius. Yes, that is correct. That phrase actually forms the basis of a lot of the Marxist ideas and the offshoots of that. Right, the offshoots of these crazy socialist ideas and these atheistic religions. That actually is the basis. It forms the basis of a number of these ideas. Resurrecting Truth, thank you very, very much. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Funny, science was open and subject to real critical review in the 20th century. Now the liberals have crushed through peer review and stuffed the scientific periodical with right-think people. Fantastic. Yes, it is. It's like, look, the Soviet Union had peer review. The Soviet Union had it too. You can't tell me it was fair and ethical or moral in any way. It was purely just propagandistic. And if you stepped out of line, you would be disappeared. So yes, that's exactly what they're instituting. Remember, these people have no respect for human rights. They believe human life has no value. And of course, if you look at the science any experiments should be repeatable. There should be reliability in repetition. When you run through the experiment, run through the data, you should get to similar results. And science has a repeatability problem. And at least half, it's probably 80%. I mean, if you read the literature on it, the majority of scientific experiments are blatantly false. I mean, we're told to trust the science. What, tobacco science? Thalidomide science? There is so much false science out there, so much bad politicized science. You cannot trust science. And because scientists are the people running it, and these people are just as ideologically insane as anyone else. And yeah, guys, so yeah, please, I'm going to stop here, but please like, share, subscribe. I do appreciate it. Click the JW. If you're the ones watching on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. So yeah, so guys, vax science, Andrew, tell me about it. We're not supposed to talk about that, but yeah, this, man, we all know. I mean, yeah, all those people with heart attacks and unexplained heart problems, and yeah, that makes one worry. So yeah, we're in the age of irreproducible results. Yeah, there are problems. There are serious problems. So if you have the choice, don't. Yeah, no, don't do it. Yeah, whatever. So guys, I hope this was helpful and interesting. Of course, I need to clean this up, but I just wanted to introduce some new ideas. But understand this idea of the religion. Now, I will be going into far more detail in the future soon about the founding of secular humanism or schmuckular humanism. It was founded specifically as a religion. Understand, it claims today to be scientific, rational, based on reason, and it is atheist. It is a religion. It was founded specifically as a religion. This claim is just a pretext because they fought in court to be recognized as a religion. They are recognized as a religion. They have not gone back to the courts and changed their minds because that would be perjury. They would have lied. So guys, I will be on Thaddeus' channel on Saturday. Tomorrow I should be streaming with Thunderous. I need to finish Monotheism and I need to finish the Sharia series. I've never done that. I do on my channel. I need to finish them. The Sharia series I've never finished anywhere. I did it, remember, 6 months ago I recorded with Al-Fadi. That's probably never going to air at this point. Yeah, so guys, I hope this was helpful and interesting. So let me see what's next after this, if I have anything else. And the last word about Saint-Simon. Ethics would become a science to be calculated and defined with precision and certainty. In the process, banishing conflict to the history books. Remember that guy who said, we're going to become God? Our job is to kill war. Well, this guy said true, banishing conflict to the history books. Well, he created the largest mass slaughter in history, the largest genocide in history, with the exception of Islam, which had a lot of time to murder a lot of people. Saint Simon recognized that dry rationality alone would not suffice and that people needed emotions and feeling in their life, hence the counterfeit religion that they needed. So rather than crush Christianity, he sought to replace it within a different system. So strip out everything that's divine and good about it. Sham Harris advocates for a scientific view of morality. Exactly. And this has led to nothing but horror. Absolute horror. He replaced deity with humanity, clergy with scientists, and faith with scientific knowledge, and proposed a social reorganization centered on a cult of Newton. His religion of scientific atheism, forming the mold from which many others would take their shape. He was taken seriously by John Stuart Mill, Thomas Carlyle, Karl Marx, and Friedrich Engels. And we've seen what Lenin had said. It's called Marxist-Leninist philosophy for a good reason, political system philosophy. And of course, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, well, Communist Manifesto. So, was it Engels who stated human lives are of no more value than cattle? Well, yeah, probably he did, but probably Stalin said that. But didn't Yuval Noah Harari say exactly the same thing? Human lives are worthless because in the scientific morality, your life is worthless. Therefore, what's the problem with killing 30 million of you? Nicholas Paulson says, it's also been a while since you streamed together with Ask Truth Apologetics. I enjoyed those episodes. Yeah, okay, I have spoken to him, and we never quite did follow up. So yeah, you're right. I can have a chat with him. So yeah, let me get around to that. But yeah, I'll be streaming on tomorrow, and I'll be streaming on Saturday. So guys, hopefully this was helpful and interesting to show you a little bit about where this is all going. And yeah, there's a lot coming, and a lot to be. Any last questions from anybody before I disappear? Okay. Yeah. So then, okay. Clay to the JW. How great would it be if you joined the college class just to bring them true info that they don't learn in those college classes? Yeah, look, I mean, at this point, this the amount of stuff that I have, the research that I have, the index of data that I've built up. My software has been indexing, and yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're just a little bit late. I'm about to wind down. This has been, how long have I been streaming? Can't see the time. I'll have to go somewhere else to have a look at the streaming time. But yeah, yeah. No, look, there's a lot going on. All of this is connected. All of these movements, all of these Enlightenment movements are designed to crush Christianity, designed to destroy Christianity and enforce their version of scientific Christianity. Oh, and by the way, I should mention one thing. Let me have a look here. I will show you one thing. I'll bring up something here. Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to go, and then I don't go, and then half an hour later I'm still talking. Yeah. So let me bring this up. So the worship of reason, okay, the atheist religion. Now understand they've reverted immediately to this pagan idea, this Roman/Greek pagan idea. Like once reason is that, once they got rid of the church, once they murdered like over 250,000 people, right? Thank you, 45 minutes. Oh my gosh, I meant to go 15. Okay. They reverted straight away to this whole pagan sort of Greek Roman/idea. And notice here the Statue of Liberty down here. Okay. Notice that the churches were deconsecrated into temples of reason, devoted to the worship of reason, personified as a woman bearing a torch. In other words, Lady Liberty. Right? This was the cult of reason established when the atheists literally took over France with the aim of abolishing religion. They did exactly what Marx says we should do and what Lenin said we should do. Right? Well, he wants his followers to do. And altars were rededicated to truth and liberty. The festival was not a dignified ceremony, but a spectacle, a Mardi Gras, pride parade. And Lady Liberty replaced Virgin Mary on several altars to symbolize enlightened thinking. So Lady Liberty, and basically this is the concept of liberty enlightening the world. Well, welcome to the Statue of Liberty right here. So in some stories, some histories, a naked woman was then laid across the altar to reconsecrate or deconsecrate the altar and yeah, turn it into, rededicate it to reason. Reason is apparently a prostitute. Fine. I'm not an atheist, so I think it's stupid. Yeah, France made... Now, notice the Statue of Liberty. This was first gifted to Egypt, right? This was given to Egypt, and the Egyptians said no. So then it came here. So, hell, I don't know. You work it out. So, guys, thank you very much. I hope it's been interesting. Thank you very much for the donations. I do appreciate that. This is hours and hours. You have no idea how many hours of work this is and research. There's a lot that I can discuss. I will be going to US civics at some point as well. And I've had to educate myself on US civics. And yeah, let's just say this stuff is deeply embedded into the US government. And I will be not taking a conspiracy theory approach. I'm working on history here. And yeah, atheists have a lot to answer for. And quite bluntly, I have listened to enough lies by Abdul atheists. They have a lot to answer for. Their religion, their atheistic religion, is filthy. It is violent. It is revolutionary. It has slaughtered huge numbers of people. And they need to take responsibility for that. They do need to take time to put them on the back foot. Honestly, enough lies. So, yeah, but if you're atheist, there's no need to deconsecrate an altar. But if you're deconsecrating it, you're in a new religion. Well, many atheists seem to be satanic, seem to be secret Satanists. There does seem to be this little parallel, this thread that runs through that. Did you see that verse in Daniel 11, I think, that talks about hating women? That's an interesting verse, especially compared to how females get treated in the world. Okay, I don't know it, so dude, I'm just have to let that one lie. I have no idea what's... And what does the JW mean? Does that mean Jehovah's Witness? So, Freemasons, yeah, let's not go there, okay? Let's not do that today. Oh, well, so I mean, if you want to talk about Freemasons, let's go here. So notice, I want to introduce you guys to a Muslim secret society that goes way back, called the Roshaniya, the Illuminated Ones. So welcome to your Muslim Illuminati. I've shown you a different reference from the single most important Islamic scholar after Muhammad, who claims that the Muslims are the Illuminati, right? The perfect Illuminati, right? Now, yeah, JW, I'm not looking to get into a huge bun fight right now, but Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah, that's rightfully regarded as a cult. But these mystical societies always continued, and one of special interest is the powerful society of Afghanistan, in ancient times called the Roshaniya, the Illuminated Ones. The major tenets of this cult were the abolition of private property, just like Marx, just like all the socialists, all the crazy socialists, like Marx, Lenin, Stalin, Mao, okay, Pol Pot, the whole lot of them, the abolition of private property, the elimination of religion, just like Marx, just like all of these crazy socialists, and of course, the elimination of your religion, not theirs, right? The elimination of nation states. Oh my God, they want the elimination of nation states, borderless countries, okay? The belief that illumination emanated from the supreme being who desired a class of perfect men and women. Well, Marx was making the perfect man. Hitler was making the perfect man. All of these crazy socialist religious cultists were making the perfect man. So understand, they had a plan to reshape the social system of the world by taking control of individual countries one by one. So this idea, understand, this idea now, after the last religious and military leader, the Afghan Illuminated Ones died, a society of the same name, the Illuminati, came into being in Germany. Now, that's a story for another day, but understand, this is a real cult. They existed. They were socialist. They seem to be, well, I mean, this is a Muslim thing, okay? So, yeah, I've heard you discuss it with Thunderous, I believe. I've never heard of it. Yeah, so this is the Roshaniya. So, understand, there's every reason to think. Now, the Muslims do claim to have founded the Freemasons, to be the original source, the original Freemasons, to be the true Freemasons. So, that's a long story for another day, but that's within their writings. That's not just me saying things. So these Roshaniya, so understand, this is exactly, Roshan means light in Dari and Pashto. In Latin, it's lux, lucis, and it's light, and it's linguistic connection to Lucifer. So, okay, they are barely recognized, so understand, so the Muslims may well be behind all of this. Hold on, Villainous, what did you say, Villainous? Getting some stream glitches? Yeah, I know, I get that. So, yeah, okay, I will cut this off here. I'll leave this here if we're getting stream glitches. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Simple Jack, welcome. Yeah, guys, look, I do tend to be very blunt and annoy people, but I mean, I say things for good reason, and yeah, I have severe issues. I mean, Martin Luther, you know the story. You guys need to look into the story of Tyndale, the man who was murdered by the Catholic Church, the evil, deadly Catholic Church, for just translating a Bible into English. Bullshit. Tyndale was off the rails, man. Seriously, the factual story of Tyndale and why he died. Oh my God! You don't piss off the king. You do not insult the king's wife. You don't do the things he did and expect to live through the day, right? So yeah, propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. Shriners are Muslims. Shriners are 100% Muslim. Good night, folks. Have a wonderful day. Nicholas, if you ever do fly through Warsaw, let me know. Drop me an email. And yeah, so guys, Templar, Paleologos, welcome, guys. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I keep saying goodbye and I don't stop. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.